What's up with that bad boy tuck? I'ma get it how I'm living, I'ma walk the walk. Outline my lines, I rap through thought.
What's happening, friends? Welcome back to the channel Football Therapy with me, your host Jan. I hope you're doing well. I do genuinely hope that. Welcome back to Chelsea News, of course, the daily series here on the channel where I reflect on all that's being said about Chelsea from around the globe, all the football media, giving you my thoughts on it, my opinions, as always, and more importantly, asking for yours. There is so much to get into today. The striker situation, an article from The Athletic, The Evening Standard, talking about acquisitions, transfers, some really interesting concrete info there. We'll speak about Maatsen, we'll speak about Poch's goodbye message, bit delayed, probably something to do with him popping back down to Stamford Bridge for Soccer Aid, one would imagine. So much to get into today in the new dawn of Enzo Maresca at Chelsea, so strap yourselves in. I'll thank you for liking the video. It's a split second of your existence to like the video and it makes me feel warm fuzzies. You're welcome to subscribe, hit the bell if you choose to do so. Let's get into it. Ian Maatsen had a bit of a, well, not stinker in the Champions League final. He played pretty well, but two really key moments that led to two Real Madrid goals. But Bayern Munich are keeping an eye on the Ian Maatsen situation. Obviously, Maatsen has shown he could be a radically effective player in the German league, in the Bundesliga. No, that's not a neg saying he can't be good in English football. That's just me saying he's lit the Bundesliga alight. Borussia Dortmund, who, by the way, don't need money, so they should not be lowballing Chelsea. They, of course, want to get it done. He wants to stay in Dortmund. But if you said to him, what about Bayern Munich? He'll probably think, well, you know who's managing Bayern Munich? Vincent Kompany. And he did play well for Burnley under Kompany. And that would be like a concrete option. I think if you said to Maatsen, what's your preference? I think maybe he'd say Dortmund because he loves it there, even over Bayern Munich. But then he said, all right, what's your second option? Bayern Munich. I don't think he's going to want to come back to Chelsea. And obviously, I know it's a dirty word, it's a dirty phrase, we don't like it, but it's the truth. He's a pure profit asset, 30 million plus, straight on the books. Yeah. And that is massively helpful for us because Borussia Dortmund would probably try and lowball us just because they're hustlers. But if Bayern Munich sort of like, you know, knee slide into the negotiations with former coach of Maatsen, Vincent Kompany, can only be good for us because that means Dortmund have to get their big boy hat on? The big boy negotiating hat. I know they've got one in there somewhere. That's what the streets are saying. So let's have a quick look at Pochettino's goodbye message before we talk about transfers. Pochettino writes this on presumably his Instagram. To the owners, the sporting directors, we appreciate the opportunity to return to the Premier League at this great club, Chelsea, and for the support you gave us, as well as from all the players, staff, and fans. Thank you. We understand how important this football club is to you and all that is why we work so hard to give you Chelsea you can be proud of. I'm pleased with the level about, okay, I'm not reading this. It's the most like PR thing ever. He does say a big hug from us, MP kiss at the end, which is nice, but it's the last paragraph that makes the most sense. It's great that I have a chance to return to Stamford Bridge for Soccer Aid this weekend. It's basically, look, because he never did a goodbye, did he? I don't think he was bitter. I think he was like, yeah, cool, it's not going to work out. We were all happy with the split. I think apparently they had like hugs and walks and jokes when they had that meeting, when they did the amicable split. So I know it sounds really like, you know, lame, but it was genuinely like a bit of a fun-loving, amicable split, and everyone was happy, and everyone, you know, got their way. So, but he didn't do like a goodbye message, which we all expected, but maybe he thought, oh, I better do that actually, because I'm returning to Stamford Bridge for Soccer Aid. Let's just remind everyone that everyone's happy with how things went. Great. Goodbye, Poch. And I'm bored of keep referencing back to Pochettino. We are about to dive into a couple of articles, possibly saying similar things, by the way, so a little caveat there. I can imagine Pochettino's name's going to pop up again, so we'll see what happens. We're going to start with Simon Johnson of The Athletic. Few clubs will come under more scrutiny over what they will do during the summer transfer window than Chelsea, especially now another head coach in Enzo Maresca has arrived. Strengthening the men's squad is not the only issue at stake here. Complying with profit and sustainability rules has become part of the football conversation across the Premier League. But by qualifying for the Conference League, Chelsea's finances come under the European governing body's watch too. Remember this big talking point that if Chelsea qualified for the Conference League, they might just not even do it, like reject it because it's not worth the money to be under UEFA rules. But then we were like, that's not a conversation. We've qualified for the Europa League. We finished 6th. That conversation's got away. But then Man United hit us back down to the Conference League. And I say this on my Instagram. I'll say it again. Like, I actually quite like the idea of the Conference League. I do. If we were taken out of the Champions League, I'd be fuming. But if the two lesser competitions, one we're more likely to win, one we've never won before and it will complete the set, and one also probably more likely that you see some youth players play. Yeah, give me that one. We've got 2 Europa Leagues. So the rules of UEFA dictate that the club can only spend 80% of their income on wages, transfers, and agent fees in the upcoming season campaign 24-25. So what did Chelsea have in mind? Well, this is the Athletics guide to what to expect. So what positions are we looking for in the summer? Chelsea are looking for a new forward on an annual basis. So this is deja vu. Of course, Nico Jackson showed a lot of potential. Clearly he needs help, especially with the club competing on 5 fronts. What? Oh yeah, the Club World Cup in June 2025. Actually, I know it's controversial, the Club World Cup, the new format, and there's too much football and everyone's like, wow. I'm actually quite excited about it. Because it's us in Man City that are representing the Prem, I believe. It feels like a bit more big time, and we've only just qualified because we won the Champions League in 2021, and that's the furthest back date you get in terms of qualification. So we snuck in there, and I feel like it's an opportunity to be like, yeah, we are Chelsea. We are good. Look at us. We're playing with good teams. We're going to win this competition. Go away, Guardiola. Although if Guardiola is leaving at the end of next season, where does that put the Club World Cup? Does he stay does this sign like a couple of months extension for the Club World Cup and then mic drop? Naturally, of course, there's hope for Christopher Nkunku up top, who will be fit for the whole campaign. But if he plays off someone rather than leading the line, obviously that's what he prefers. We're going to have, it'd be really interesting. It'd be good to have really good competition in all competitions here because just really keen to see how we set up and how we go. With veteran Thiago Silva gone, of course, Chelsea need another centre-back. These 2 positions are the main priority, striker and centre-back. Although they would also like a winger. What else happens depends on the amount raised by outgoings. Of course, Fabrizio Romano has said Elise will be a big hot topic in the summer, whether it's Chelsea or Man United, yada yada. Alright, so strengthening at fullback is another area that has been highlighted, while the goalkeeping department could also come under consideration, although Maresca may be keen to get more out of Rob Sanchez. So before we read on, let's just talk about this Rob Sanchez thing. It was tweeted by the transfer guru Fabrizio Romano that Maresca likes Sanchez, wants to work with him, and thinks it's like he's ready for the next phase of his career. Now, we all collectively gasped, but a couple of things. This could be like a briefing from the club, like, no, he's not a shop window, no, we don't want to just have a fire sale of this guy and, pour some cold water on Chelsea, the talks or the news that Chelsea just want to get rid of this guy. There could be that. Look, man, I am not impressed with Sanchez at all, I'll say it now, but again, if you want to follow me on Instagram, it's @FootballYannick. I'm often sharing my football opinions on there. I do think there's an element of, you know what, man? Do what you want. We are in such a big transitional thing that lots of things changing. I'm not saying it's clean slate for everyone. Some players like Lukaku, Ziyech, Kepa, whatever, the sun has set. But Rob Sanchez is still quite a young goalkeeper. And if the new gaffer, who by the way had a very good goalkeeping situation at Leicester, if he thinks, I can make this work, go for it, mate. Go for it. As long as you don't You get one shot. You get one shot of revitalising this man, and that's it. But whatever. If he wants to do that, let him have a crack. Do you know what I mean? Chelsea have made the point of waiting for Maresca's appointment to be completed because they want to discuss targets for the senior squad with him. There you go. You're not like, yes, man, here's all your players, deal with it. They want to consult him. It's a collaborative project, not like, we've got these, take these players, make it work. Bye. No, they're like, let's have a conversation. Sit down, pour yourself a drink, man. What do you think of this guy? Shame we let Mbappe get away to Real Madrid, etc. As per usual, the development squad will be on the lookout for young talent from across the globe. Apparently, that's what we do. So this is the exciting part. Which players are Chelsea looking at? Well, Chelsea have been admirers of RB Leipzig striker Benjamin Sesko for some time, but they face stiff competition from Arsenal, and the next article will go into the strikers a bit more. There's a lot of other names on the list. Chelsea have ruled out making a move for Napoli's Victor Osimhen. Big news here for a number of reasons. His release clause is in excess of 100 million at Napoli. Yeah, his style of play does not suit Maresca's system. And there are concerns over the 25-year-old's injury history. I believe he's injured right now. He's out for 4 weeks. Yeah. Osimhen, done. Not happening. He's going to PSG, isn't he? And if he doesn't go to PSG, early Saudi trip, the hype of Osimhen might just go, woo, we'll see. But yeah, too much money, doesn't suit the system, and he's got too many injuries. Fine. Off you go. Done. Brentford's Ivan Toney does not fit what they are looking for either. True. Look, Toney's a transitional player. I'm not saying he's destined to only be that, but that's what he's been playing at Brentford. So I get it. The club so this is interesting as well. This is big, bro. The club has distanced themselves through the links, of course, with Sporting Lisbon frontman Victor Gyökeres in January, and that remains the case. So there's two of the big bad boys that have been linked to everyone this summer. That will both be like £100 million players. Victor Gyökeres, I think it's pronounced like the G silent, Gyökeres, and Victor Osimhen. So that is kind of a relief in many ways that we're not going to just spend crazy money on like a big name striker with all this pressure. I don't want to read this next sentence. There is long-lasting admiration for Brighton's Evan Ferguson. Just stay away from Brighton. No. Chelsea, no. However, Brighton will demand a large fee for the 19-year-old, and the 19-year-old's form has dropped off. His last goal came in November. Yeah, not for me, mate. As for the defenders, Chelsea are growing in confidence. They'll beat Newcastle to the signing of Tosin Adarabioyo. I don't know if I said that right. Apparently, it's already got the here we go, so that's happened as far as we're concerned, and we've spoken about that. Barring any late surprises, that's the first signing of the Maresca era. One of the young fullbacks they're pursuing is a 17-year-old Pedro Lima, who plays in a Brazilian club, Sport Recife. Of course, we're looking at a 17-year-old from a Brazilian club. That's just the vibe now, isn't it? So, Chelsea continue to like Crystal Palace duo Elise and Eze. Eze as well. I wonder. Someone said to me again on an Instagram live, Jan, if you could choose, who would you choose? Eze and Elise. Elise is like the cooler one, like the slightly better one. But in terms of what we need, Eze started on the left for England yesterday. Shout out Cole Palmer, first start, first goal. Penalty, but any friendly, but still, we're happy about that, aren't we? I don't know, Ebbe Eze is sick. I mean, either would be great. So, of course, Nico Williams has a release clause of 50 million. The stumbling block for his wage demands. Yeah, Nico Williams would seem really appropriate for us because he's a left winger. He's young. He's a talented left winger. £42 million is a release clause, which is achievable, I think. This is basically Cole Palmer money. But yeah, if he wants like 250k a week, I think his wages are massive at Bilbao. I don't understand quite how that works. Yeah. Yeah, and if it's that big, then we can't pay it. So even though Maresca is keen to work with Sanchez, he's obviously a big fan of Mads Hermansson, having worked at Leicester, the goalkeeper last season. And of course, we're looking at Burnley's James Trafford as well. Yeah, his goalkeeper was sick last season, by the way. So what moves have Chelsea already made? Well, he's referenced here Esteban Willian and Kendry Paez. They'll turn up when they are 18 years old. Let's talk about players going or expiring. So Thiago Silva's gone, of course. Conor Gallagher's situation has been and will continue to be one of the main talking points this summer because he's just got 1 year left on his deal in what feels like a similar scenario to Mason Mount before his £55 million plus £5 million in add-ons moved to Man United last year. The midfielder has been considered for a sale to raise revenue. Of course, homegrown player, pure profit. As things stand, there's been no developments in terms of negotiating an extension, though it's been reported that Gallagher himself is still hoping that he can sign an extension at Chelsea. Who will make the key decisions this summer? Chelsea recruitment policy is led by co-sporting directors, of course, Win Stanley and Stewart. Joe Shields, one of the main boys up there as well. He's a trusted member of the team as co-director of recruitment and talent. Of course, Sam Joel's just begun his role as director of global recruitment. The club's co-owners will give the green light to any decisions. Bowley and Clearlake Capital, that is. A big group of people. Transfers and recruitment people. Now, I've always wanted this. I used to pray for days like these. I know people don't dig it, but, and that's largely because Chelsea have finished 12th the year before last under these new owners, but I've always asked for this footballing structure, and I do genuinely feel it's the best thing for Chelsea Football Club. So who are Chelsea willing to sell, gang? Well, let's get into that next. Chelsea are prepared to listen to offers for a fair amount of their squad. I believe I genuinely think no one's untouchable for Chelsea. In the new model, they'll back themselves to bring in new talents from South America. Chelsea want to be a Galactico Dortmund, so even the likes of Cole Palmer, maybe not immediately, but Cole Palmer is learning Spanish, guys, so we can collectively panic about that. So yeah, listening to, of course, Trevoh Chalobah and striker Armando Broja could raise an excess of 50 million between them. Probably about right. Broja's got to be 25 each. You might disagree with that, but that's probably the reality. Suggestions are that Chelsea will settle for 20 to 25 for Broja, considering they quoted 50 million for him. Like, was it not in January, in the summer maybe? Was it January? Anyway, they wanted 50 million not very long ago. Now they're going to take 20. He's wanted. Okay, so Armando Broja is wanted by Monaco and Milan and 3 Premier League clubs. Okay, so the suggestions that Chelsea will settle for that is still premature. This is what Simon writes here. They still value... Okay, all right, here we go. They still value him at a minimum of £35 million. There you go. A figure that could increase if the 22-year-old impresses with Albania at Euros. Yeah, I didn't even consider that. Euro 2024 this summer. If he bags up top for Albania, the world will be watching. Who's this young Chelsea striker that's scoring goals for his country, leading the line? Oh, it's Armando Broja. He's fun. He looks like he could be good and get better. Let's buy him. Sure. Maatsen, of course, Borussia Dortmund, has a £35 million release clause. We've spoken about that. Bayern Munich also interested. There's interest too with Amari Hutchison. Of course, Ipswich want to buy him, about 20 million quid. Stuttgart are looking at him. A Champions League club. From the Championship to the Champions League, even if you don't play for Chelsea, going to Chelsea was a good career move. I said that before because of how it helps navigate your career. And Matos as well, who's impressed at Huddersfield Town. Chelsea have triggered the option to extend Hutchison's contract until 2026. Of course, that will protect his asset value a bit more. So he's got 2 years left on his deal as opposed to 1. They do not see the point of loaning him out again, of course, because just be devaluing him as an asset. But Maresca will take a look at him in case he's like, I want him. So don't write off Hutchison completely. Of course, he's very talented, but I think he's going to be too good as an opportunity to make money for the club not to do it. Let's keep going. The club are keen to get some high earners, of course, of the previous regime. Interesting that Galatasaray's obligation to buy Ziyech after his loan has been triggered. I just thought it was a 1-year loan. So, yeah, Ziyech is gone. Done. Dealt with. Lukaku still has 2 years left on his contract. This is incorrect, by the way, from Simon Johnson. Earning him around 340k a week. That's incorrect. He agreed a wage reduction so he could go to Roma, unless it was only for that 1 year. But I was to my understanding that it was a renegotiation of his contract, because he's not going to get 340 a week anywhere else again in a lifetime. Regardless, he's a high earner at Stamford Bridge, and he's 31 years old. Chelsea value him at 40 million euros, 38 million pounds. I do think we'll sell Lukaku. He's still Romelu Lukaku. Conte is going to Napoli, even if we're not looking for Victor Osimhen. They'll probably sell Osimhen to PSG. He'll get massive wages. I just feel like Lukaku will go to Napoli. He wants to stay in Italy. Conte is his daddy, as Tuchel once called him. I see it happening. Kepa, of course, will be reporting back after a disappointing loan after Real Madrid. I think someone was messaging me on Instagram or on the live chat saying that we got 8 million quid for Kepa winning the Champions League. I don't know if that's true. But I know Chelsea are very good at this, Hazard, we keep getting paid. Hazard retired a year ago, and we still get 5 million from them winning the Champions League again. That's it now, because obviously he retired prematurely, I think. Mental. We've absolutely fleeced Real Madrid. And Malang Sarr, I don't know what's going on with Malang Sarr. And of course we get the £28 million pure profit for Lewis Hall, ladies and gentlemen. Chelsea are confident they will comply for the PSR stuff. I don't want to get into that now. We do want to... It's going to be a bit of a longer video, guys. Some of you might like that. I do want to read this article from Nick Purell on The Standard about Chelsea and Benjamin Sesko, because this is interesting. Chelsea retain a strong interest in Benjamin Sesko and are confident they can rival Arsenal for the RB Leipzig star, and if they progress their plans to sign a striker in the summer. I'll give you my thoughts on this in just a moment. Sesko is the subject of serious transfer interest after a good season in the Bundesliga, and both Chelsea and Arsenal are in a strong position to land the 21-year-old RB Leipzig hitman. Arsenal, you'd argue, are in a stronger position. They are in the Champions League. The £56 million release clause raises the chances of a big money move to the Premier League. An achievable fee at £56 million. While Arsenal could look to whittle down that fee in any potential deal with Leipzig, Chelsea may be prepared to just pay the trigger and just pay the release clause. Arsenal were like, why are Arsenal in more financial trouble than Chelsea, who finished 12th? I mean, I guess player sales, and they did, I don't think Arsenal generated much pure profit player sales. I think they might have sold 1 or 2 players, but they also outlaid £68 million on Kai Havertz, which is a big outlay for, again, just a 5-year deal, not amortized over 8 years. They didn't do that, which is, I think Arsenal's creative accountancy isn't as creative as Chelsea, so I get that, but interesting. I'm going to give you my thoughts on Sesko in just a moment. Arsenal are thought to be given encouragement that they hold an early edge in the bid for Sesko, but that will not deter Chelsea as they opt to step up their interest. If Chelsea want a player, often we just get him. And that's one of the positive things from the previous regime that we always used to love about Chelsea, that we just want to play and we'd nick him off, we'd nick Willian off Tottenham, we'd nick Pedro off Man United, John Obi Mikel off Man United. Do you know what I mean? That seems, we still seem to have an allure. Back then, we just give them massive wages. We don't do that anymore, but we're still somehow convincing them. Yes, so this also references how Chelsea aren't going to pay for Victor Osimhen. We're probably not going to look at Evan Ferguson. Nicholas Jackson finished a mixed first season at Chelsea with 14 Premier League goals, non-penalty goals, might I add, which actually is pretty strong. Maresca's confirmation at Chelsea head coach on Monday. Yes, we know about Enzo Maresca. So, Benjamin Sesko. How do we feel about Benjamin Sesko? Well, I'm just quickly going to check his numbers here, because I don't think they are massive. Okay, they are pretty good. He scored 14. He did, well, look. Okay, all right. Okay. He scored 14 league goals and got a couple of assists, which is pretty much identical to Nico Jackson, and it's in the Bundesliga and blah, 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 blah. but he did it in 1,500 minutes, which I think is significantly less than Nicholas Jackson. He's tall. He is 21, so he's slightly younger than Nico, a year or two. And it's, he's really good at, basically, he's really good in the air, really good in the air as a striker. He's mega powerful headers. Many of you have seen that video online when he's got like almost like Cristiano Ronaldo hang time when he sort of jumps and bangs, that Michael Jordan style. He's not great at passing apparently, but he's young. He can get trained into that. Yeah, he's good at finishing through balls. His style of play is who scored. He's indirect, set piece threat, likes to play short passes, plays the ball off the ground often. We are poor at set pieces. We're looking to be better. We're looking to be better, stronger, taller, better in the air with Bernardo Cueva, the new coach. Seshko's that guy. Look, Nico's a good player, but he's a winger converted to striker. Benjamin Seshko is like centre forward, and I guess we're looking for that. His numbers aren't extraordinary, but he is a good player. In the Nations League for his country, Slovenia, he scored 3 goals and 2 assists and 5 apps in 444 minutes. Good return. He's got a couple of goals in the Champions League this season, only played 400 minutes, decent return. He's a good player. I'm just going to quickly look at last season if that's relevant at all. Of course, he was at Salzburg before, and it looked like he wasn't really being played. Okay. He's young. He's 21. I mean, I gotta be honest. I haven't watched Leipzig. I'm gonna look at Benjamin Sesko and see what he's doing. But the numbers, the profile, the beating Arsenal potentially, it makes me feel good. So look, Evan Ferguson, no thank you. And if we're not gonna go for the headliners, Gyökeres or Osimhen, then yeah, fine, Seshko, But as always, I want to put it out to you guys. Let me know what you think. Comment down below. I really value your opinions, so please leave them. Thank you for liking and subscribing, and I do hope to see you back here very soon on Football Therapy. Peace.